Yes, Maharaj, we can start now.
Okay. Hello. Welcome all the guardians in today's webinar about National Education Policy 2020. Most of you have already known that this new education policy is going to be implemented near future, and this modern age, a new education policy. Most of you know that the new education policy is very much needed, because actually our existing education system is according to the education policy on 1986, that is 34 years old. Now it is very much felt that a new education policy for this modern age, modern skill, all of that. So in this webinar, our three assistant teachers will deliver their talks about national education policy. Now I request our teacher, Sri Sanjeev Sinha, sir, please conduct this webinar and start this. Sir, please proceed.
Okay. Am I audible, Pranab sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pranam Maharaj, very good evening to our respected guardians, beloved students, and esteemed teachers. It's indeed a rare opportunity for all of us to be on the same platform in this webinar on National Education Policy 2020. Before I get into the subject, Pranab sir, please mute other attendants, please.
SNS sir, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. So before I get into the subject, I would like to clarify why we are sharing the features and objectives of National Education Policy 2020 with the guardians. A great educator well said that education starts from the womb of mother. In Mahabharata, we have read, Abhimanyu learned the skill of entering and breaking the Chakravyuh when he was in the mother's womb. So you can understand here that guardians play an important role in the grooming of a child. Now, like the guardians, every education policy is aimed to help every child achieve his or her dreams. Now, this National Education Policy 2020, what is this? Now, it's the first education policy of the 21st century aimed to address the developmental imperatives of our country and unfinished agendas of the National Policy of Education 1986, modified in 1992. You can understand how the government is taking this policy with how much sincerity. Previously, about 3.5% of the GDP was invested for the education. Now it is decided that 6% of the GDPs will be invested to educate our children. So this NEP 2020 aims to help a child to build his or her character, okay, as well as career. Please notice here, not only career, but also character. In other words, it will help a child to be groomed as a complete man, which is the agenda, which is the slogan, with the same principle Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya is teaching, imparting education for the last 3 decades, more than 3 decades. Now on to the subject. NEP 2020, this policy, these recommendations may be studied from 5 dimensions: objective, curriculum, and pedagogy. Pranav sir, please, my first page. Objective, curriculum, pedagogy, school infrastructure, and school governance. Now, its overall objective is to help a child to become socially, physically, mentally sound, self-reliant, true Indian. So you can understand this is the holistic grooming, the overall development of a child. This is the first objective. Now, under holistic development, overall development, we find social skill, physical skill, mental health, vocational skill, citizenship. The curriculum will be based on ethics, values, cultures, traditions, based on teamwork, yoga, games, based on local languages, Hindi, Indian culture, tradition, the knowledge of ancient India. The pedagogy, the teaching method would be experientially joyful. It will be sports oriented, yoga oriented, art integrated, discovery based, experiential, practical, and internship, discussion based with language projects. Now, here also we have inclusive education. This is the second objective of NEP 200. Under inclusive education, we have a target to bring 100% gross enrollment ratio, to bring into the school campus handicaps, children from backward classes, adults who did not attain education, and students who dropped their school. Now, let us talk about the holistic development, the second. Now, under the holistic development, to understand it, we have Vidya sir, please, second, next slide. So we have to achieve, we have to impart these skills: cognitive, that is understanding, analytical, explorational, problem solving, life skills, 21st century skill, physical and mental health, social skills. At the same time, they will be taught Indian tradition, culture, and history. To achieve this target, The policy talks about many measures. Let's talk about the measures. Please, PDS sir, next page. Here, the policy talks about reduced content to provide students, okay, the scope for inquiry, discovery, discussion, and analysis-based learning. Then it talks about experiential learning. It talks about flexibility on choice of subjects. Then it talks about language of interaction, that is medium of instruction, mother tongue, as well as local language. So it talks about bilingual teaching, learning, language. Now, language formula, this is newly incorporated. It talks about 3 languages, English plus 2 native languages. Now, it also talks about contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, organic living, environmental education, holistic health, etc., to meet the 21st century needs. It talks about vocational training, practical-based curriculum for grades 6 to 8. Now, the knowledge of India, about ancient India and its contribution in the modification, in the transformation of India into a modern and developed country. We have ethics and values, teaching the importance of doing what is right. What is right, sir? Next page. Yeah. So teaching the importance of doing what is right. It will teach students the ethics, the values which are incorporated, which are written in our constitution. They will be taught the value of health. Now, board exam. It is stated that board exam shall be reformed and redesigned to encourage holistic development, flexibility in subject choice. Okay, it may also develop a semester system, okay, maybe designed in 2 parts, objective and descriptive, and very important, progress card. It will reflect 360-degree multidimensional report. These are the important features, new measures, which we find in the national education policy. Some of the basic features will be discussed by our esteemed teachers, Ashutosh Dev sir and Dr. Saurav Chakraborty. So I request Ashutosh Dev to carry forward, sir, with your discussion. And one important information for the guardians: if you have any inquiry, if you have any question, you can write in the chat box. Okay, we will try to address and answer your queries. Thank you, sir. Ashutosh sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev sir. Pranam Maharaj. Good evening, our esteemed guardians, our students, my colleagues. Today we are going to discuss on NEP, that is the National Education Policy 2020. I shall brief the education structure from nursery to PG. প্রত্যেকটা বিষয়ে আমাদের স্টুডেন্টদের সম্বন্ধে বলা হবে, কিন্তু সবকিছু তো ওরা বুঝে উঠতে পারবে না। তাই এখানে প্রাইম লিসেনার হচ্ছেন আমাদের গার্ডিয়ানসরাই। সঠিকভাবে যদি অনুধাবন করতে পারেন তাহলে ভবিষ্যতে আমাদের বাচ্চাদেরকে সঠিক মার্গ প্রদর্শন করতে পারবেন। ছেলেদের পাশে আমরা বরাবর যেমন ছিলাম আগেও থাকব। So I shall now share my slide. So I request PDS sir, please give me the consent.
Allowed.
Thank you, sir. Is it visible to everybody?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. On July 29, 2020, the Union Cabinet approved the new education policy after 34 years. So this is a very long gap. So previously it was known as National Policy on Education, that is NPE, which was approved 34 years ago in 1986. It got further modified in 1992. So the main focus of 1986 policy was regarding access and equity of education. Access means the availability of education, and equity means the fairness, because there are people who are more disadvantaged than others when it comes to having access to education. We have indeed come along a way since 1986. However, today it is about access to quality education. Previously, it was just about having access to education, but today it is about quality education. The only major improvement since the last policy of 1986 has been the Right of Children for Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, or Right to Education Act, that you know it, which was an act of Parliament of India enacted 4th August 2009. The main purpose of NEP is to design a vision and framework for both school education and higher education in India. Let's look at some of the key proposals of National Education Policy 2020. So you find, okay, yes, this is the structure. Our previous academic structure is as this figure. You have to pass through 10+2 schooling system. Now it has been restructured in 5+3+3+4 format, where the first 3 years are your preschool, which consists of KG, LKG, and UKG. Yes, these three are the main basic fundas: KG, LKG, and UKG. After preschool, when you go to first class, thereafter the second class, together these 5 are going to be your education for foundation course. So this is the basis of your education system. After that, 3 years, that is from class 3 to 5, will be the part of your preparatory or the primary schooling, followed by another 3 years from class 6 to 8, that will be your middle schooling, and finally 4 years, that is from class 9 to 12, is going to be your secondary schooling. So together, it is a 5+3+3+4 academic structure. If you notice, children from ages 3 to 5 years have been included in the formal education system. This is a very interesting case. So again, I am showing here. Yes. So anyway, this idea behind this is to have early childhood care in education system. So basically, the foundation of learning, so the whole structure, that is 10+2, has been replaced by new schooling system, that is 5+3+4 structure. Now coming to the undergraduate degree, the undergraduate degree structure will be available for 3 as well as 4 years. Now what do you but it now have the multiple entry and exit option in this structure. So now what do multiple entry and exit mean? For example, if a student wants to leave a degree at any point during the course of his period, they have the option to return and start where they left it. So they will not be required to start from the first year. And so this is the essence of this education system. So you can continue your undergraduate course again. Along with multiple entry and exit options, students will also receive appropriate certificates. For example, a student will be awarded a diploma for 1 year undergraduate education, advanced diploma for second year undergraduate education, and bachelor's degree for 3 years course. So as per the new policy, the undergraduate degree program will be credit based. So you are looking in the picture, this is the credit based education system. So in the credit based academic system, one credit might be 1 hour of teaching or 2 hours of practical or field work. It's a new way that will hopefully provide flexibility in designing curriculum and assigning credit-based course content teaching. Now, the students will have the option to exit at different stages and also re-enter the higher education system to start it again from the end of the education earlier. So the credit earned by them so far will be accounted for their continuity. So this is the education, this is the very essence of the education system. For this purpose, there will be an academic bank which will maintain the credits of the students digitally, and academic credits earned from various recognized higher education system. So degrees are then awarded taking into account the credits earned. It is similar to how banks have credits for every account holder. It's called the CIBIL score. Based on that, it helps you to get better deals on loans and credit cards. Like that, even these credits will work in your education system also. So you can start at any moment your education. If you look at the undergraduate bachelor's degree in US, it typically takes 4 years to complete, and it comprised of 120 to 128 semester credit hours. The two types of bachelor degrees are offered as BA degrees, that is Bachelor of Arts degrees, and BS degrees, that is Bachelor of Science degrees. Both requires 4 years. The 4 years undergraduate degrees are typically known as freshman, sophomore, junior. Yes, the structure are following here, and senior. And their final year of undergraduation, students are asked to choose the specific field of study, also known as the major. I don't know whether the American education policy has the multiple exit or entry option. Apart from that, in the new education policy of India, a student who will pursue a 4 years undergraduate degree program, they will move towards more research-based learning in the higher education structure. The higher education institutions now will have the option of offering 1 year master's degree under the new education policy 2020. So previously, all you remember, to do masters, it took 2 years, isn't it? So it will exist, but now the second year of your master's degree will focus on research for those who have completed the undergraduate degree of 3 years. Okay. So, and those students who have completed 4 years of UG course with research, they will have the master's degree in 1 year. So basically, if you did a 3 years undergraduate degree like BA become BSc, etc., your master's will be of 2 years. But in that case, second year will focus on research. That means 3+2 structure will be for you if you did a 3 years undergraduate degree. If you did a 4 years undergraduate degree like BTech, BE, B Pharma, your master's will be for 1 year. And that 1 year will focus on your research. That means 4+1 structure will be for you if you did a 4 years undergraduate degree. The reason with the student 4 years UG degree will have masters for 1 year, because as per the new policy, the importance of the 4-year degree course will lie in the 4th year that I am highlighting here, adding to the degree with research. That means students in their 4th year of undergraduation will get an opportunity for experiencing how to do research that will add a lot of benefits in holistic education system. So now, fourth one is very essential that was cushioned earlier. So this is for about the MPhil degree. The new education policy has decided to discontinue the MPhil program. Now MPhil stands for Masters of Philosophy, and with the respective subjects, as for example, MPhil in education, MPhil in mathematics, MPhil in sociology, like this. I don't mean any disrespect, it will still legitimate higher education qualification, but you can finish MPhil in 2 years time, whereas the PhD takes at least 3 years, plus an MPhil dissertation is normally shorter than a PhD thesis. Many students used to do MPhil before doing a PhD because it was believed that MPhil acts valid your research. I am not saying it's mandatory. You can have a PhD without an MPhil degree, but it is used as a trend. Anyway, as per the new education policy, the government is discontinuing the MPhil program. Students who have completed their master's degree will be eligible for pursuing the PhD degree or the Doctor of Philosophy course directly. Okay, so our next part is there will be no hard between arts and science. This is very interesting. So after this stage, you learned there is science, arts, commerce. They are separated, and those students who started arts, they cannot move to science again any moment. But now in this education system, you will have the flexibility to change your stream from this part to that part. That means there is a flexibility between these subjects also. So you can opt for history with maths, geography with economics, like these combinations. Another provision that we get to see in that new policy is that there will be no hard separation between these subjects. To eliminate harmful hierarchies among and silos between different areas of learning. I tell you the meaning behind this. If you look at the subjects of arts, they are history, geography, physiology, English, political science, sociology, anthropology, economics, etc. Together, all these subjects come under the arts category after this stage. So under arts category, there are few stages also: liberal arts, social science, and creative arts. Okay, now coming to the hard science subjects, they include physics, chemistry, biology, geology, astronomy, botany, etc. You can also call them STEM subjects. What are STEM subjects? This means science in technology, science in engineering, science in mathematics, etc. As per the new education policy 2020, there will be no hard separation between arts and sciences. I don't know whether you are aware of that, but in recent time there is a clash between soft science and hard science, isn't it? So these social scientists believe in something which the doctors and the hardcore scientists don't believe in. They don't agree with that, and vice versa also. There is always contradiction between both the parties. In recent times, it was grown a lot. In the Western countries also, the differentiation has turned into people voicing their opinions in form of national debates, protests, and riots in college campuses. It has turned into an anarchic movement. You can say this like. So today, these things spreads over college campuses to the real world also very fast using this social media. It is a nightmare for every government. And not to forget, harmful forces and organizations might take advantage of this situation in creating some disturbances. So anyhow, through this policy, government wants to implement a new education system. That is why in the academic level, it wants to reduce that barrier between hard science and soft science, so that it reduces the likeliness of the development of toxic ideologies. Apart from that, this holistic approach is aimed to ensure towards the students' overall development, where they not only learn what in the syllabus, but also in the essential life skills. The overall picture is still unclear regarding how it will be combined. The teachers will have the great responsibility giving enough clarity, and should be educated enough to handle this change. That is how the multidisciplinary approach to education across the science and social science, arts, humanities, and the hard science, social science, arts, these will create well-balanced citizens to our students. So these are some of the key changes in the new educational policy. So the government is trying to fund 6% of its GDP. That will be sufficient to cover the financial implication of the national education policy. Currently, India's expense is 3% of its GDP on education as per 2018 economic survey. Only time will tell how this policy will roll out, but the fact remains that India desperately needed policy change in the education domain. It came after 34 years, so hopefully this will be a beginning of much needed transformation. Thank you all for listening my words. Our next speaker is Mr. Saurabh Chakraborty, PGT Biology. Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all of you, and good evening and pranams to Maharaj, and good evening to all the guardians and my esteemed colleagues. Sanjeev sir and Ashutosh sir has told beautifully the different concepts regarding this new education policy. My area of focus will be the different stages of the school education, especially the education pedagogy of and the structure has been discussed, pedagogy and stage wise details, especially in the school system. So I would ask sir to share the slides.
Saurabh sir, you can share it.
But you have
Okay,
to.
sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Can I control it, sir?
Yes, sir. You can control it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think it's coming slow. Anyway. Okay. So, as earlier teachers have explained that there are actually there are different stages. First stage is the that is 5-year education, that is the foundation stage, which actually can be subdivided into, first slide please sir. Pranab sir, yes. Okay, so the first slide, actually here it relates with the foundation stage. That is, as you have seen, that earlier in the system, there was education used to start from class 1. That means that is which comes under the purview of the government. So that was standard 1 and 2, and then this the rest will from the other stages. So first stage was the foundation stage, in which the early education, early child care was not taken in consideration. New education policy takes this as the base. That is the first 5 years. So education here starts from 3 years, and that includes preschooling or Anganwadi, and 2 years, that is standard 1 and standard 2. Now what happened in this what are the features of this foundation stage? This stage is based on the concept of what you call as the CCE, ECCE. That means early childhood care and education. Now, in this early childhood care and education, there are certain things have been taken into consideration. Not only just giving instruction to the child or educating him about the different contents to be learned, but there will be no direct instruction to the child in this age. So in this age, there will be just play way method will be child will actually deliver or express himself in a school or wherever he goes, preschool or Anganwadi, by playing. So he will develop an attachment for the school, and that will be based on play or activity based, and there will be no exams. And mark it, this exams will not be for also for standard 1 and 3. So there are two stages. First 3 years, that is the preschooling, and 2 years there will be no exam. And the focus of this stage will be on cognitive, affective and psychomotor abilities of the child to be developed. And the focus is on to develop good behavior, ethics, personal and public hygiene. That means he should develop some cognition, some individuality and some psychomotor abilities. This will be focused on through play only. Mark it, there will be no direct instruction. And just before the child reaches the age of 6, that is standard 1, at the age of 5, there will be a transition class, or which is called Bal Vatika, in which an ECC qualified teacher, ECC qualified teacher means all those teachers now who are in Anganwadis or preschooling, they will be given special training. And for that, NCRT is preparing actually a framework, a national framework for this 5 years, in which there will be two groups. One is for 0 to 3 years, not only for 3 years, but 0 to 3 years, and then 3 to 8 years. These two sub frameworks will guide these teachers how to actually smoothly transmit or guide the students to the schooling stage from the preschooling stage. So here emphasis is just for the overall development of the child and not just giving instruction or giving contents to the child. Then there will be another important aspect of this stage is also attainment of foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3. That means to say it is targeted that in mission mode things will be done so that by the time the child reaches class 3, he develops some basic reading, writing and numeracy and literacy skills. So that is to be done in mission mode, and that is the stage which is the first stage or the foundation stage in which these things will be covered. Next slide, please. Wait. So here, as I was telling, that the main focus is on CCE. CCE the
Sir,
CCE.
sir,
Yes,
use
sir.
left mouse or right mouse in laptop. Left direction key, right direction key.
Okay, but it's not work. You can run it, sir.
Okay.
Okay, wait, not working. You take the second slide, sir. After that,
This one.
no, before that.
Back.
Before that, just Before, back, earlier,
This one?
earlier, 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 earlier. Yes, next you come, then next, down, down. Yes. So no, earlier one, CCE. Yes. So here you can see earlier, sir. Next, CCE one, DLO one.
এটা ঠিক আছে,
Here
এটা
you-
এটা এটা ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, ওকে।
Here you can see that here the emphasis is on play, activity and inquiry, and there will be midday meal will be extended from just now it starts from class 1. It will go to more Anganwadis and preschools, and the responsibility of maintaining all these things will just lie on just not on school education but on human resource, women welfare, tribal affair. All the related departments will come in unison to actually see that the CCE policy and especially the foundation years are properly done in this age group of children. Next slide, please. Here, the focus, as I told you, is of logical thinking, arts, crafts, relationship with nature, then self-identity, ethics, and the method is teamwork, collaboration, play-based, and discovery-based learning. That means the child will play with alphabets, numbers, and other games, and in this way he will develop some learning and develop some basic cognitive skills and other skills which are required in future years. Next slide, please. Here, this actually comes, which is called preparatory stage, which is of 3 years, which starts from classes 3 to 5, and it relates to class from age group 8 to 11. That is class 3 to 5. Here, what is happening is that here some introduction will be given to formal teaching. That means some subjects, broad category subjects like EVS and other things will be introduced to the child. Okay, not very specified subjects, but some broad category groupings will be introduced. There will be some interactive teaching and learning. Earlier it was just play based. Here it will be interactive teaching and learning. And there will be the formal examination starts from here. Up to class 2 standard there was no examination, but from 3 standard examination will start, and the emphasis here is on local language. That means the child will be taught in local language. It is written in the policy or said in the policy that local language should be the preferred medium, but it is not mandatory. That is because English is a global language now, and so some schools may opt for English also. It's not a problem as it now continues in some school, but the emphasis has been given on both local language and learning of English. So because it has been seen that when the child learns in local language, then he learns it better in his own mother tongue. So the emphasis here is on reading, writing, speaking, and also this will be done by using, as Sanjeev sir was telling, so storytelling of our, because India is a rich treasure trove of different type of say mythologies, different type of rich cultural heritage. So these stories will be told to the small children to develop this reading, writing, and speaking skill of the child. And also there will be emphasis obviously on mathematics and mathematical games, but mathematics will come through puzzles, mathematical games, and other aspects, not essentially direct mathematics, but interaction, some problem solving through games, puzzles. All this will come in the this 3 to 5 standard. Next slide, please. Sir, next slide. Here, this is the middle stage. It actually includes the children of 11 to 14 years, which actually should come, students of class 6 to 8 should come. Here, it is a area where a lot of emphasis, a lot of changes has been done. First thing is that here some subject oriented abstraction will come, some curricular methodology, some instruction based teaching will come. Then the emphasis is on experiential learning. Experiential learning means through doing something, through hands of experience, the child will learn about this different subject, different areas, and about this world. And there will be exploration between different subjects. So there will be inter-subject exploration in which child will not only learn about say mathematics and English, but also the connection between these two, say history and say science, or social SST and science. How do you correlate these two subjects? So here we'll see a lot of other things in which there will be integration. These will come through art integrated projects or different sports integrated projects in which inter-subject integration will be done, through which he will have experiential knowledge about things. And that is why their emphasis is on greater flexibility and exposure to more subjects. Modern subjects or contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, holistic science, machine learning, these will be emphasized because these are the 21st century skills which a child needs to be introduced right from this age. For example, certain coding and other thing, most of you have known, heard a lot about coding and other thing. Actually, what the basics of the coding will be introduced so that as the child progresses, he can learn more and more, and he becomes, he develops certain skills in himself, and that can be used either for his future to become a professional in that area or from other aspects. So that is a very important addition in this new policy. Then mathematical and computational thinking will always be actually emphasized, because this is the core area which needs to taken care of in the modern world. Then apart from this, learning about different Indian language apart from English, one or two Indian languages. First, he will be introduced in the middle stage, one Indian language. Say he may learn Sanskrit or Pali or any classical Indian other language, Tamil, Bangla, anything. So that addition to his normal learning, he will also have this language as an addition if he wishes to. Next slide. Next slide, sir. In the next, you can see another important area is focus on vocational education. That means their hands-on experience on vocational crafts are given. For example, often we see our children are very good theoretically, but he cannot do simple things in terms of skills or actual skills of hand. So actual skills, the vocational crafts like carpentry, electric work, these there will be classes for this. In fact, one of the addition is that 10 days bagless periods will be there. That means suppose in class 6, 10 days will be there when the children will not go with any normal class bags or book, that he will go to a carpenter and learn the scraps or how to do the carpentry, how to do electric work. This will, through this, the child, if he prefers, he can actually continue this education in his further years of education. Also there are provisions in this policy. So this is to give emphasis on the vocational education and to make it really useful. As such, there will be no such difference between co-curricular, extracurricular and actually curricular like that. So all will be given equal weightage in this sense, because marks will be given for all. So vocational courses will be emphasized in this stage along with the knowledge for experiential learning. These are the different important aspects. Regarding vocational aspect, it is expected that it is targeted that at least 50% of the learners should be exposed to vocational education by 2025. That is the target. Okay, so this is the middle stage. Now let us come to the next stage, that is the secondary stage. Next slide, please. In this secondary stage, which actually conventionally which you consider from class 9 to 12, that includes teenagers from age group of 14 to 18 years. There will be the important aspect of this stage is that there will be no differentiation between humanities, science, and commerce like that. So now we have, say, a problem that say after class 12, what will you study? Will you study science, arts, humanities? Like that, we have hardcore streaming. So that streaming will cease to exist. So right from class 9, he will have different subject combination. For example, say after 11, a child after class 10, a child may have, say, English, he may have biology, he may have accounting, he may have economics. So it will be a mixture of various subjects. That means there will be no stream differentiation as such. So he may choose certain subject combinations, but not actually hard subject differentiation or streaming will be there. As earlier our Ashutosh sir has told, even in the higher strata, there will be no BSc, BA and BCom. You will have just a degree, and from which you will have different subjects which you can pick and do your degree course like that. So this is one very important change. So there is a flexibility which has been emphasized in this policy. Then the pedagogically, the emphasis is on critical thinking and higher thinking skills. For example, suppose in history we ask a question, suppose what Napoleon, please write a brief note on Napoleon, or what he has done, and please write on Napoleon. This is a direct question, but it doesn't include any critical thinking. Now the question, under the new policy, the question may be, had Napoleon been living now in this century, what would be his reaction, or what changes he would have brought in certain aspects? So that needs critical thinking, extrapolation, and other higher order thinking skills. So in this stage, there is emphasis on critical thinking and higher order thinking skills. Okay, in this stage also, if this child is proficient in Indian language and English, then he can also choose one foreign language to study. He can study foreign Russian, he can study French. So that is there to actually to bridge the gap between the different cultures and countries. So child will know about the different countries and culture, and also he will become efficient about different aspects when he knows a foreign language. So these are the different aspects. Regarding examination, there is a lot to be changed. First thing is that the importance of board exams will be reduced as such. Conventionally, in class 10 and 12, we put one-time effort like that in the board examination. Now it is proposed that there can be 2 semesters per year. This is one of the proposals. That means the board exams may be held in two sessions or 2 semesters, and also there will be some formative and summative assessments, and so not just like writing a lot in the paper. This is not some formative activities and other based of examining assessment will be done, and that will be, so the emphasis is on to bring some to equal the load, the unequal load in the exams that will be assessed. Regarding the report cards, as Sanjeev sir was telling, 360 degree that report cards will be done. That means what? Here in this report card, not only you will get assessment by the teachers, but you may get assessment from his peers also, from his friends also, from his own self-assessment will also be there, peer assessment will also be there, and assessment from different aspects. not only his writing skills, not only his content testing, but also his behavior and other aspects. So his report card will be a holistic report card. So these are some of the different aspects which actually will be discussed, which I think will come up in the new education policy. So with this, I just end up my presentation. But I think that a lot of changes are going to come. Let us see how do we actually bring these changes. Of course, in the Ramakrishna mission, you think you see a lot of things are already there. We need to we are equipping ourselves, and also guardians, I think they will cooperate and see how these changes are coming up, so that our children become future citizens, good citizens, better citizens. Thank you. With this, I give over to Sanjeev sir.
Sanjeev sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Saurabh sir. I have a few questions here. From Hi, who is this Hi? I don't know. So without proper name, we won't answer. Now, we have a question from the guardian of Odhiraj Shah. Will there be any change in teaching learning method in classroom in school? It is already discussed, sir. There will be less content and the teaching methodology will be experiential one, joyful one, based on discovery, based on practical knowledge, internship and all. So methodology is going to change. Now, there is another question from Tapan Chandra Dhor. How can I start from class 7 to my son for achieving BTech, MTech, etc., so on, especially subject combination? Please reply. I think Ashutosh sir can better reply you, sir. Ashutosh. Ashutosh sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. How can I start from class 7 to my son for achieving BTech, MTech, etc., so on?
There are a lot of activities are yet to be done, and the combinations are yet to be pictured after implementation of this NEP. So again, there is no need to worry about it, whether we have to start your BTech in early ages from 7th standard. So keep going and watch what will happen by the NEP. Some subject combinations will be allotted on the basis of flexibility. After 12th standard, you will decide which stream you will actually opt for. But before that, you will start your preparation equiply. So, is there any activity, sir, from Saurabh sir?
I think
Okay.
what actually you have already answered. Actually, from class 9 standard onwards, you don't have any, according to the policy. I am of course speaking of the policy, that there will be no subject such as science stream and all this. And you see in the middle stage also they are giving a lot of different subjects, and that will actually help you to decide actually what your child actually likes. What is his aptitude on, not only BTech. You cannot decide BTech or become like that. Now, according to the aptitude, he will go, and by the time he reaches class 9, and then he will have different subject combinations. Suppose he likes the technical subjects, so he can choose those technical subjects and go on those subjects which he's liking. Suppose he likes physics, maths, and other such type of combination. So he will choose such combination, and this way he will progress according to his aptitude, not according to actually likes and dislikes of others. actually his aptitude. The new education policy actually emphasizes on the aptitude of the child. That is why they have broken the foundation, this art streaming of different arts and science. They have asked to that the child can take anything he likes and accordingly he can develop. So one should not worry about this. If things are incorporated in proper way, it will naturally come out. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Saurabh sir. Now we have another question from Orko Pal Roy Chaudhary. From when the new education policy will start? Dear sir, we are yet waiting for the circular. As soon as the circular reaches us, we will certainly implement it. Now, with this, with the permission of the Principal Maharaj, we conclude the webinar on NEP, and thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for your sincere audience. Have a good night, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.